Welcome back for another module, and in today's module we're going to be talking about an interesting topic, which is conscious consumer best practices in the health, wellness, and fitness marketplace online. I wanted to record this module because it's the wild, wild west out there on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, the way that the ads pop up and people are preying on our deepest insecurities. And I wanted to shed some light on, from a business owner perspective, what are we taught in mentorships when we're guided in the realm of sales and marketing and building a business, but where's the line to practice that ethically for us from my perspective, and what I think you should look out for in the marketplace so you can be well equipped beyond your time here at PCC and not succumb to other people's marketing or sales tactics when you actually know what you're doing and you have the tools that you need. So I think the number one thing to understand is just kind of basic stages of marketing, because this is how, ultimately it's how you came here, it's how you found us. And if you're at this module in the PSB course, then you're obviously having a good experience and it was a worthwhile thing to find us, click on our ads, etc. But at the same time, understanding this can help you prevent yourself from falling down a rabbit hole that you're not meant to be in. So in marketing, there are multiple stages of buyer awareness that we are taught to create content, ads, and marketing towards. Those realms are problem unaware, problem aware, and solution aware. Problem unaware is when you don't know that you have a problem. Maybe you're aware of certain things about your body or your life or things that are going on for you, but you don't have the awareness that it is a problem that needs to be solved. This could be something like saying that, hey, if you struggle with your pants not fitting, or your clothes are tight, or you have low energy, then you might have high cortisol. This is something that's super hot and common right now if you're watching this in 2025, taking basically general symptoms of someone who is overweight or not taking care of their habits properly, and then slapping a label on it like high cortisol or hormone imbalance or gut issues, and using that to create a problem association that you're now aware of. So that's people taking you from the problem unaware to problem aware. They're literally creating problems that you didn't know that you had that may or may not be true. And then they will create content around problem aware. So, hey, you have high cortisol, here's how to fix it. Right? And then usually it's pointing towards the way to fix it that aligns with their method or the thing that they are selling, whether that's a product like a pill or a supplement or a service. So for example, how we leverage this at PCC is we talk about, hey, if you struggle with constantly falling off on the weekend and starting over on Monday, and you feel like it's a discipline issue, you feel like it's a willpower issue, it's actually a neuroscience issue, it's actually a approach issue, it's actually a strategy issue, it's actually an issue of how you're fueling your metabolism, how you're training, and how you're thinking that's creating this problem. So we're redirecting you from self-blame to strategy blame, right? It's the way you've been taught, because that's true. And then from there, taking you from, so then if you are struggling with your mindset, your nervous system, your all or nothing thinking, your approach, the solution is a no bullshit, evidence-based approach to your health and fitness that's guided by experts that can look at you holistically. And that's the journey that we take you down. As you can kind of tell from me saying that out loud, that doesn't sound sexy. It sounds very boring and it sounds very practical. That kind of thing doesn't sell as fast as hotcakes do with things like high cortisol and supplements for things like that. That's why you see CMOS taking over the market. That's why you see ashwagandha taking over the market, because those things are hot in terms of making enough sense that people go down that journey with that heuristic, but not so much logic or so much nuance that it's unsexy or it's boring. So to wrap that part all up, I don't think that taking someone through the problem aware to solution aware journey is unethical. It's how you do it and how much truth there actually is to what you're saying. And there is that element of giving the audience, giving the people that you're marketing to what they want to hear or what's in their language so that they actually are receptive and want to hear what you have to say. And then when they do sign up or they do buy the thing, you're delivering them what they actually need. So for example, we do talk about metabolic adaptation, we do talk about hormones, we do talk about gut health here at PCC, not as the primary lever of what we focus on, but a piece of the puzzle. But will we talk about it because it's what people are focused on right now? Will we talk about it because it's what initially got your attention and then opened you up to these other topics that you didn't realize were actually the issue? Yes. And then delivering what you needed, which was holistic lifestyle change, taking it slow, not rushing the process, and learning how to be kind to yourself in the journey. That's probably what you didn't know you needed. So I think that there is an ethical way to leverage it. I think there are a lot of people that don't and that sell you what's too good to be true without a product or service really behind what their marketing and sales looks like to back it. And that's the reality of the marketplace right now, is most companies are sales and marketing companies with some sort of a product or service underneath it that is not really their main main focus. Their main focus is driving revenue and driving numbers. Whereas here at PCC, my background has always been coaching, and I've had to learn sales and marketing in order to grow and scale, but it's always been product first, service first. And that's always shown in our numbers of our client retention rates, our client success rates, and things like that. So if you are interviewing any sort of company in the future, I would ask questions around customer success rates, cancellation rates, escalation rates, how many clients leave the program and feel satisfied, what their NPS score is, and actually ask about their customer success, because anyone can market and sell if they find the right message or the thing that hits with people, but it's about what's actually being delivered. Next, something that I would hope for everyone to understand is research and evidence-based practice. This has become very warped and twisted over the years because it has become more popular to rely on evidence, but it's now being cherry picked. And just because someone says evidence says this doesn't mean that they actually did their full research or have credibility in that space. So for example, this is super common in supplement companies, research tested, evidence-based, things like that. Typically what a lot of these companies do is they either pay labs to run research studies for them and publish for them, proving that their supplement, their ingredient, their formulation is going to work for people. The problem with that is the study goes in with an inherent bias of we want to prove that this works, not we want to prove that this doesn't work. It's very hard to find neutral research around supplements that is paid for by the supplement company. Second, if there is a large body of research around a topic, cherry picking certain studies is very common. For example, hormone replacement therapy, estrogen replacement therapy causing cancer. That was one study that went viral. And it has since been disproven many times, but because it garnered so much attention from that one study, it's still a stigma that lives today. So what I would recommend that you do whenever you're looking at supplements or products or things that are evidence-based, look for people who actually spend their time reading research and learning from evidence-based practitioners as a majority of their time. Look for people who reference meta-analyses and systematic analyses rather than individual case studies, anecdotal studies, or survey studies, because those types of research are based on many, many studies conglomerated into one report to give you a bigger picture of what the research truly says about an entire topic versus cherry picking individual topics. Lastly, I would say no matter what sort of products or services you're looking for, look for things that hold true on themes and truths that sustain in an industry for years rather than months. Look for things that are truths that hold over the long span of time rather than trends. For example, carnivore, keto, high fat, low fat, these things come and go, and they're really specific hills that people are dying on. If it's ever a one way of doing something, it's probably not a holistic, well-rounded approach. Lastly, if you're looking at practitioners, go based on character and experience. So yes, you're gonna wanna go on vibes of how does this person make me feel, but that can't be the only thing. Also look for experience, not just side by sides, but actual client testimonials, video testimonials of people not being held against their will and actually saying that this service was worthwhile. Because side-by-side photos can be stolen nowadays, they can be AI generated nowadays, and they are not necessarily the most reliable source of proof anymore. And again, just remembering that if a practitioner has a very dogmatic way of looking at things, it's this way or the highway, and they don't look at things with nuance of it depends. If a practitioner answers a question consistently with the words it depends, you're headed in the right direction. Because it depends means that they are considering the individual and the client, not just slapping blanket statements on everyone. And lastly, trust your gut. Your gut got you here, and that was a good move. Continue to trust your gut and take this information into account. And I think you'll be in a good spot in the marketplace where you can discern between what's too good to be true and what's really something that's necessary for you. So hopefully this helped. Reach out to your coach with any feedback or questions, and we'll see you back here in the next one.